An arrowhead-shaped logo features a lone bison standing beside a tall evergreen tree. National Park Service, U.S. Department of the Interior. A white branch graphic floats against a light green background. Olmsted Center for Landscape Preservation. Viewed from a distance, a property appears beyond the leafy branches of a tree in the foreground. Cultural landscape at Appomattox Courthouse, National Historical Park. Appomattox, Virginia. A woman wears a green uniform and a wide-brimmed hat. Robin Snyder, Superintendent.
On April 9, 1865, the last shots of the war in Virginia echoed across this landscape. And at that point, Lee knew that there was nothing more to do than surrender his army.
Civil wars don't typically end like our Civil War.
Patrick Schroeder, historian.
General Grant was very generous with the terms, allowing the Confederate soldiers to go home. Grant he fed the Confederate soldiers. He also gave them transportation on ships and railways, which they could use with the parole passes they received.
Reverend Alfred Jones III.
I think it's important to remember the history of the surrender because it is such a pivotal turning point. It's monumental in the history of our country and what we will become.
After the war, what happened to this village and its landscape is an interesting question. Even as the surrender meeting was ending, people had an acknowledgement of what was taking place there. And they began to take mementos from Mr. McLean's parlor.
Black and white photos of a large brick home with a covered porch.
Most visitors are surprised to see that it's not just a courthouse. They expect to see a courthouse. Some are aware that there was the McLean house, and that was the area of significance where the surrender took place. But they are transformed as they walk up Market Lane and look around at this historic village. Most visitors do not expect to see an actual village where we have different businesses and outbuildings and homes that are associated with people who lived here when the war came to their door.
Brian Ike, National Resource Manager.
So the park was established, I believe, in 1935, and it wasn't really until the 1940s that work really began on the park. So there was visitors that were coming here, but it wasn't up until about the 1963 master plan that really created the park as we know it.
An old photo of a crowd of people at an outdoor event.
The park completed a cultural landscape report in 2009 with the support of the Olmsted Center for Landscape Preservation. And that report, of course, lays out the significance and what we are here to take care of and what we're here to preserve.
This is something we need. It's a guideline for the park of what could be done or what should be done. It presented many solutions to obstacles we faced. And to have a study like that, a resource at our hands, is beneficial not only for us now, but for the future of the park and the people that take care of this place afterwards.
The sun shines through a tree beside the house.
It is a powerful place, and you sense that. The visitor senses that, even as they walk up Market Lane from the parking lot.
A map.
They're taken from 2018, and they walk, and all of a sudden, up that hill, they're in 1865.
Patrick Schroeder.
Appomattox Courthouse National Historical Park is important to me because I feel that I am helping people remember a part of what's becoming our forgotten history. Many people do not recall what happened at Appomattox, even though it is one of the most important events in American history. During the surrender meeting, you see, Parker was a Seneca Indian chief, and he was on Grant's staff, and he is the one that actually wrote out Grant's final terms. And he was said to have the best penmanship on Grant's staff. And when Lee was introduced to Parker, he said it was good to see one real American here. And Parker said, "General, we're all Americans." And that was what that meeting was about. After 4 years of fighting, two sides were again going to be all Americans.
Credits appear over footage of a park ranger walking toward the McLean house. Special thanks to Brian Eck, Alfred L. Jones III, Patrick Schroeder, and Robin Snyder. Additional credits appear. Visit the links in the description below to learn more about the Appomattox Courthouse landscape.